Hi there. So it's day 4 of your paleo reset, and we're still on the topic of what to eat and when to eat and how to eat. So today is all about snacks and preparing food to take with you when you're out and about, because this comes up as a really big question, around this time. What am I going to take to work? Or we're going hiking on the weekend. What can I take? Because usually we just take a bread roll with some ham and cheese, and so we really want to get in and explore other options. If you've popped onto this video on YouTube and you have no idea what we're talking about, please click the link in the show notes, in the video notes, and that will take you to the page on my website, which explains all about this 31-day detox and reset following the Ancestral health model. Okay, so let's get into today's topic of snacks, which are delicious and nutrient dense. Okay, and just to tell you as well, this comes up, the images in the email today are from the website of Nom Nom Paleo, Michelle Tam, because her work is just so beautiful. So I encourage you to go and check out her website as well. She's got loads of ideas, and her books. So snacks and lunch boxes, right? Snacks and lunch boxes and eating on the go and eating away from home is no excuse to eat badly. And always, repeating this from the last couple of days, in any given meal, really, we want to be eating enough food to keep us going until the next meal. And absolutely, once we've broken the carbohydrate cycle, once we've broken the sugar dragon cycle, it's much easier to burn fat, and our blood glucose levels become much more stable, and we lose the cravings, right? We lose the cravings to be reaching for snacks sort of between meals. But yeah, sorry, I'll just go on with the information here. Instead of the anxiety and the irritability that's normal for sugar burners after they finish the last meal, for fat burners, we simply feel empty, right? When we've depleted the energy from our meal, the metabolism shifts gears. Yeah, that's what it feels like for me, and that's the way we sort of describe it. The metabolism shifts gears, and so instead of burning the energy from the meal, we start burning the energy that's stored in our cells. We start burning the energy that's stored as fat in our body, right? Then hunger follows naturally, right? And hunger starts to call, but it doesn't send us into a crisis, right? So it doesn't send us into that state of being hangry, irritable and cranky and hungry all at the same time. And because we're in tune with our bodies, when we're hungry, we naturally want a complete meal that's based on quality proteins, healthy fats, salads, and vegetables. Okay, so having said that, sometimes we want an easy snack, and absolutely, often we'll need a healthy meal to take with us when we're out and about. So always the same rule. Base your snacks on protein and healthy fats, okay? So, remembering that it's these two macronutrients that provide the feeling of satiety and release energy slowly over a long period, right? So snacks are made all the better if you add a handful of salad leaves or vegetables and a portion of fruit. Ideally, you want your snack to be a small but nutritionally complete meal, okay? So it's great to get into the habit of taking a lunchbox with a healthy meal to school or to work, right? I'm sort of lucky because I sort of got into this habit when I was in adolescence. I think I sort of got into the habit of taking food with me. Now I know how to do it better, right? So try and get into the habit of taking your own food with you. Now, during the cold months, a thermos with a soup or a stew in it is excellent. And during the COVID lockdown of January 2021, we bought one of those thermoses for my husband, for Fiorenzo, because he works as a gardener. He's outdoors all the time, and having a hot meal at midday was a lifesaver for him when all of the eating places were closed. They didn't think that out very well. But yeah, it was an absolute lifesaver for him. And today, of course, you can buy beautiful lunch boxes with dividers in them, and as you've seen the photos in the email, and so with a little bit of imagination, they can be filled with a rainbow of healthy food. So yeah, check out the ideas from Michelle Tam at Nom Nom Paleo. You've got the link there in the email, and her children are all grown up now. I don't know how old they are, but when she took these photos, they were sort of still at a school age. But you can see what they would take to school. Roast chicken and olives and meatballs and berries and salad and skewers. And of course she does point out, in one of her emails that the lunch boxes that she was preparing daily were not as beautiful as the ones that are in the photo shoot. But the important thing is that they're full of nutrition. Okay, so in the section of eat, forget about the sandwiches. There's a world to explore, right? I mean, they're so beautiful. I mean, you can just, you can really just sort of play around with colors and textures and flavors. And this is what it's all about. Mini meals are quick and easy to prepare if you follow the golden rule, right? The golden rule is whenever you can, make more than you need, okay? Leftovers, right? Most paleo leftover foods are delicious when they're eaten cold, right? And you can always enliven them with a spoonful of sauce or mayonnaise or pate, right? So ideas, right? Let's steal the ideas from Michelle. Protein: chicken salad with mayonnaise and herbs, roast chicken legs, roast beef, meatballs, omelette, smoked salmon, meatballs made of tuna or mackerel, and tuna salad, mixed up with mayonnaise and herbs is always fantastic. Healthy fats and sauces: think about avocado, olives, walnut or hazelnut paste, liver pate, olive pate, pesto made with basil or rucola, mayonnaise, of course, always fantastic, and nuts and seeds in moderation. Salads and vegetables, you can sort of also with this just sort of like jump outside the box. Roasted vegetables are fantastic cold. Raw vegetables become pizzamonio that you can dip into sauces. Salad, of course, potato salad is good, and skewers of vegetables and fruit because they look lovely and they're so appetizing. Fruit and sweets, strawberries and blueberries are always welcome to find in a lunchbox. Fruit salad, chia seed pudding. Yeah, there's a recipe in the recipe book, and paleo muesli. Again, there's a recipe in the recipe book, so that sort of adds a little bit extra to the lunchbox. And then, of course, you can just sort of make the big magic mix of nuts and seeds and dried fruit and dark chocolate. The thing to be careful of here is to not go overboard with dried fruit like dates and figs, yeah, because they're really high in glucose and they'll keep the sugar dragon alive. So you just want to add them as a little surprise, but not as the basis of the mix, okay? So think macadamia nuts, fantastic source of healthy fats, macadamia nuts, walnuts, hazelnuts, almonds, Brazil nuts, coconut chips. I've written here Corinth grapes. I'll see if I can edit this. They're currants, little currants, dried figs, dates, dried apples, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, and pine nuts, and dark chocolate, always with a minimum of 85% minimum cacao. And then just moving on to like baked snacks and energy balls and energy bars and things like that. You'll find recipes for these in the recipe book, and they are fantastic for a snack or for a top up after your meal. But be clear. Right? Be clear, these foods do not have the same nutritional density as quality protein, healthy fats, and plant foods. And what that means, of course, is that they won't provide the same feeling of satiety, the same long-term feeling of satiety. They're fine as a treat, but don't substitute them for real food. Okay, and always, we repeat this like a mantra: be careful of the sugar dragon, right? Bars and muffins and cookies and energy balls can keep the sugar dragon active and alive, and we want to keep him under control. We have to keep him under control. Don't underestimate the strength of the the sugar dragon. Sugar messes with our brain chemistry, right? We're going to look into this in more detail further on, but seriously, the mere thought of a sweet treat can trigger the pleasure and reward response that creates addiction, right? And we don't want to be addicted. We want to be free, right? So the opposite of dependence is liberty. So we'll look at that later on, but just keep in mind now that the paleo baked goods and snacks, yes, they're allowed on this program, but they should be consumed wisely. Okay, so, and as I often like to say, yeah, it's not Christmas every day, and not every meal is a party. And I think that's really, wise for us to remember, because we're so used now to having everything at our disposal that sort of every meal becomes a treat, every meal becomes a special occasion, and it's not Christmas every day. Most days, most meals, we just need to get nutrition into our body. Okay. Now, check out the turquoise box. Check out the turquoise box here, which is a little reminder of how much sugar we are consuming these days. From the 1700s, when the average was like under 5 grams of sugar per person per day. In 2009, we're up to 227 grams per person per day. And, we're just not evolved to consume that sort of quantity of glucose. Okay. All right. And so then there's the recommendation for movement for today. So, just to get out there and move frequently throughout the day. And then the motivation exercise for today is a little bit of advice about how to combat peer group pressure, because you come up across this, especially when you're sort of like new to this way of eating and all of your friends and family aren't, on board with you, and they'll sort of pressure you to, to be following their ways. And so there's some recommendations there for just how to practice saying no in a way which is polite but determined, and how to sort of prepare in advance for situations which might be a little bit challenging. Okay, so leave you with that, and I'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.